Hey everyone, this is Frugal Panda here. This is another video from my Gresham trip. Well, Portland, Oregon, excuse me. Gresham was just a place I stayed in, one of the suburban areas. You check out my other video, I'll explain Gresham a little bit more. As I said in the other video, Gresham is a pretty cool city to visit, easy to get around. My Motel 6 I stayed in was cheap, and I got a free upgrade, and it was quiet. There's really nothing much to say about it. That's what I look for when I'm on my solo trips. I'm trying to be frugal, not blow a lot of my money on where I stay, but make sure I'm staying somewhere that's, of course, safe. You ain't got to worry about your car, all that good stuff. So it was cool. No complaints from me. Didn't see a lot of homeless people, as I said in the other video. It was easy to navigate this little city. Riding around was fun. Of course, it's Oregon. It's green. It's beautiful. All that stuff. Had a cool little shopping area. I went out to eat twice, and one time I went to a Chinese restaurant. I cannot think the name of it. And honestly, I just wanted to get appetizers, and man, they give you a lot of food. Like, I ate it all too. It was good, but I was like, I didn't even need it. I was like, whoa, I thought I was just going to get some light appetizer. Riding the lectricxpremium, it did fine. Like I said, it's a mid-drive, so don't think it's going to be dusting people from a light. The lectricxp don't do that, but the lectricxp does have a little bit more get up and go from a light, especially if you got plans for the rest of the day and you don't want to be all sweaty, but you might want to get a light workout, get your legs moving and all that stuff. But it's a little bit more work on this, like to actually get up and go on it, and be, as I said in the other video, be mindful of the pedals on this, because you've got to switch gears because it's a mid-drive, and the pedals on these lectricxpremiums are crap. Don't let nobody tell you no different. One of the first upgrades you probably want to do are the pedals, because if you're trying to go quicker, take off quicker, you will slip off. Your feet can slip off of these very easy because you have to use them. I cannot speak on the lectricxp, the original one I had, the 1.0, because I didn't notice, because even when I take off, I usually didn't slip off because I wasn't like switching gears, which makes you more susceptible to your feet slipping off. You see, I'm just bombing around, riding around, checking out the bike. One thing about this bike, you don't have to worry about your range. There's no range anxiety with this bike. Now, with that being said, someone said to me, or said something, they thought the Rad Power had lost a step. And it got me thinking, what would I buy? I like my Rad the Rad Mini version 4, or whatever it is, the very last version they made up. Oh, I love that little bike. But it's got me thinking, for what you could spend on a Rad Power, I can say lectricxp or electric e-bikes, their quality has gotten better. Is it up to Rad's quality? No, it's not. If it was, the price would be higher. They're both Chinese bikes. They're designed here, all that good stuff, but let's be honest, they both come from there. But regardless of that, most of our stuff does. Not a big deal. Now, if it was me and I was looking at getting another bike, which I will be looking at getting another bike, I would forgo the bike I have, which is the lectricxpremium. Do not get my bike. This is what I do if you have a certain budget you could spend. Don't get it. Wait for a deal. lectricxp or electric e-bikes may be running it right now. Buy an lectricxp 3.0 long range. So you got good range, and that's plenty of range if it can get up to 65 miles, which means you can usually, I would guess I would get, at my weight, a guaranteed 45, 50 miles on that bike around there. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is I wouldn't have to worry about range on that bike, but it would be a hub motor bike. So it is going to be quicker off the line. Is it going to do as good going up hills? No, but what are you talking, a few miles, because the motor is a little more powerful on it than the older one. But you can get it for what? Is it $9.99? Someone can chime in, but it's cheap. So what I would do is I would buy the lectricxp 3.0, and then I would buy an lectricxp Lite, because you could probably get it for around the same price as my bike, or maybe throw $100 or $200 with it. And if they're running those deals where they take $100 off or whatever when you buy two, something like that, you may get it for that price or a little cheaper. I would get that over a Rad Power bike. Now, the only Rad Power that would interest me at this point is not the Expand. I don't care about the Expand. I would get that hybrid one. I can't think of which one it is, but it's the real nice mountain bike. That's the hybrid with the regenerative brakes and all that stuff. That's a nice bike, but it's not a folding bike. Or I would get the Rad Rad Runner Plus. I do like that bike. I had the Rad Runner 1. I love all the upgrades, the storage, all that stuff. But again, it's not a folding bike. So for a lot of us, we want a bike we can, throw in our car, our vehicle, our truck, whatever, and fold it up. But you also want a bike that's not super heavy, that it becomes like you don't really want to take it out of your vehicle. You're trying not to get dirty, pulling your bike out like you're on vacation or something. But regardless, that's what I would do. Get that Lectric XP 3.0 if you're interested in electric e-bikes. Get that one with the long range, and then get the Lectric XP Lite, the one that's like 40 some pounds or whatever it is. So now you got two bikes. You can decide, okay, what do I want to do? What I want to take with me? Now on this trip, if I had both of them, the 3.0 probably wouldn't have came with me. I took a smaller car. I still had plenty of room because it's a Nissan Kicks, like a mini CUV. So it was good. There was no issues with it. But remember, again, that bike weighs 83 pounds. The Lectric XP Lite, it's cheap. You can throw it in your car super easy. It's 40, 50 pounds. You get up to 20 miles an hour. It has a decent range. It has a decent motor. So now you have two bikes, depending on what you want to do. You can decide which one you want to take. You're like, okay, I'm not going to take my truck. I'm going to take my Prius. Well, let's get the light and throw the light in there. There you go. Got a lightweight e-bike that has pretty good range, has a good speed to it, not too big, not too small. It'd be a good bike, but you would pay, even getting in my bike, the Rad would be the Rad Expand now. You could get almost two bikes, probably with tax around two bikes from Lectric XP for the price of the Rad Expand. So, if you're trying to save money or trying to, or you want to get two bikes, you got two. That's what I would do. If I knew the 3.0 was coming out, I would have got the 3.0 over the mid-drive just because of the price. I mean, that's to be honest with you. And I'm not saying I might not just get the long range, but I'm also looking at Lectric XP Lite. I'm looking at a couple others. I had a company that wanted me to test their bike, and their bike is basically, they're both look kind of cookie cutter to Lectric XP. The Lectric XP looks like a lot of other bikes. But then that fell through. They wanted me to. Sometimes these companies get a hold of me, and then you're like, wow, whatever. And then you don't hear from them. Yeah, a lot of times you don't hear from them. They're like, contact. It's almost like Facebook Marketplace. You ever try to sell something, or someone to ask you if something's available, and then you never hear from them after you tell them, yeah. So it's the same thing. A lot of them be out there fishing, wanting you. And some of the companies were pretty big companies that wanted me to ask me about it. And I replied, yeah, send me a bike. You want to send me an e-bike? Someone else did. And it worked out well. I'm going to give you an honest review of it. So, and some of the companies I know were good quality companies, but then you don't hear from them. Like, okay. And honestly, I might have been looking at your bike to purchase too. And I'm like, I was kind of looking at your bike to purchase, but you were going to give me one to review. I would take it, but let me go ahead and pull yours off what I'm interested in, because you contacted me and then you kind of ghosted me. So if you're going to ghost me on that, why would I buy your bike if I was interested in it? So I'm looking at the Lectric XP Lite and a couple others. I'll decide whatever I get, I'm going to try and get something that, I think is going to be a decent bike that I can do a review on, that I could recommend, especially if you're on a budget or you never had an e-bike, that I could say, hey, this is a decent bike that you should get. This is what it can do. This is what it cannot do. This is the value of it. And if it's a cheap bike, I'm going to let you know, yes, this was a cheap bike, but this is a plus of it. This is a quality good. I had an Ancheers. The Ancheers bike, we had no problems out of it. My son rode it. My son rode it. My spouse rode it. It was, all that. Only thing is, it wasn't really built for me. But for smaller people, it was a great bike at that time. And there was no issues out of that little bike. It stayed up with all the other bikes. Now, like I was saying, in regards to that, go out here, just, get a bike, check it out. Don't spend a lot of money in the beginning. Don't do like a lot of people go out there and get top of the line, because you don't know if you'll like riding. Don't waste your money doing that. Just check out things and then you slowly upgrade. It's like when I bought my first motorcycle, I didn't get the best of the best. I got a bike to learn on. Then I decided, okay, it's time for an upgrade. Let me try out something new. But anyway, this was Gresham. Gresham, Oregon was cool. If you want a spot to go hang out and get your hotel or motel room in to save a little money, but you're close enough to Portland because it's a suburb, but you don't have to deal with any of the problems that are currently happening or were happening in October when I was there. It's a great place to go, so you can check out a bunch of different things. No issues here. It was a great place to stay. I have no complaints about Gresham, Oregon. The Lectric X Premium did well. Like I said, it's getting used to it and how to use it and going through the gears. I'll be honest with you. With this bike, I get tired of going through the gears, and I do go through them, but it does get old really fast. So for anybody that's not truly interested in a mid-drive bike, get a hub motor. You'll be impressed if you've never had an e-bike, but if you're coming from a hub motor to a mid-drive, you'll be kind of depressed, depending on what you're trying to do with a bike. Now, a mid-drive would be great in a lightweight bike. So a lightweight bike or a true mountain bike that's not like a heavy slug like this. This thing's 83 pounds, y'all. So it's a heavy bike. So it's like when I had that VeloWave, the little road bike, that bike only had a 250 watt motor in it. And it was a blast to ride because the freaking bike, I can't remember the correct weight, but it was like 33 pounds. So it would rip and zip. It'd go up hills quicker than my other bikes just because it was 33 pounds. But anyway, it wasn't something I needed, so I ended up getting rid of it. It was a good bike. But the lectricxpremium, like I said, I use the throttle, I use the pedaling. I don't worry about using the throttle on this, and it took me a while to figure it out. And okay, you can use the throttle, and you're not going to wear the battery out that quick. It'll do well on the throttle. So yes, it does. It does need a little more oomph in the throttle, but I understand it probably has to do with the chain, and the fear of electric e-bikes was people snapping chains, and I'm sure they had to throttle back the throttle because they probably, when they were testing, probably had some chains snapping. So they had to control it a little bit, the power a little bit better in that 500 watt mid-drive motor that's in it. Fit and finish up this bike, it's good. It's a chunk, like I said, it feels well made. It's not as clunky as my old Lectric XP 1.0, so definitely on that. I like the tires. I do wish it had more of like a passenger size passenger style fat tire on it than the knobs. I don't care for the knobs. I think a passenger style tire on it would give it even better range, make the ride a little bit smoother, all that good stuff. So anyway, something to think about. If you're looking at this bike, check out the prices. If you got the money to spend on this bike, you might be able to get a better deal and be able to have two bikes. Whether you're a couple or like you got a buddy or a friend or something you want to ride with you, or you just want to have two bikes to switch out. I would go with that 3.0 long range and get an XP Lite for around the same price as this lectricxpremium. And you'd be good to go. I'm be honest with you. And you'd probably be really satisfied. You'd be really happy that you now have two e-bikes to rotate through, less wear on just one of them for one. It's like having two cars. You're not driving the same one all the time. But also, you got a bike for each occasion. You got your light bike or you got your big bike. And you can decide on how you want to do it. And the thing about these bikes, the lighter you are, the better they perform, the longer they're going to go. Because I think they test them on like a 180-pound rider. So imagine you weigh 150 pounds. That bike's going to go way better for you than it is for me. So I think they zip. You're going to think, man, this bike is really fast because you weigh 20, 30, 40 pounds lighter than me. You're gone. Like my spouse can ride my e-bikes, the Lectric 1.0, and she can ride in level 3 and stay up with me on another bike. So she can stay up with me on another e-bike that I'm in level 4 on because just of her weight. She weighed like 110, 115, 120 pounds. So she's flying in level 3. I tell her to put it in level 4, and she's like, that's too fast for me. She's already going 20 miles in level 3, But anyway, whatever you do, whatever you get, investigate it. Check out the bikes, watch YouTube videos on it, see what people really think of it. I still will take this on trips. I'm going to take it with me. I ride it quite a bit. I ride it more in my Rad Mini because one thing about this bike, it does feel better. Same as regular Lectric XP. They feel better. I don't know. My Rad Mini just feels undersized sometimes for me. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. Maybe it's the design, how it looks. I don't know. I just like the look of Lectric XP bikes, or those style. Lectric XP isn't the only one. Engway. There's a couple of them that look like that. But regardless, I want to thank everyone for watching my videos. Go out there, have fun. Go ride your bike. Go rent a couple. Investigate. They are really fun to ride. I really enjoy them. They're a blast. Always remember with your e-bikes, with battery-operated things, only charge them when you're around. Do not leave your bikes charging overnight. Charge them and then stop. It helps them last longer, cuts down on fires, all that good stuff. Anyway, this is Frugal Panda. Thanks for watching. Frugal Panda is out.